They had some guys make some quick jump shots that at times they made, at times they haven't, and they did and got going, and it never slowed down for them. So I think you give their players credit for coming out and making some plays in that second half to get the momentum on their side.
Is similar to what Sully asked the guys, is there a common thread among these three losses that might point to what's going on the road?
No, I don't think so. I thought our guys came in and played great. Indiana State's won 6 out of 7. And obviously won 3 of their 4 games in the league and are playing as well as they have played all year. And our guys came in and we were up 37-30 at halftime. So, I don't know that there's other than playing on the road requires a tremendous execution, tremendous attention to detail, and you've got to do it the entire time. And right now we haven't been able to do it consistently enough to find one on the road.
I'm sorry, do you think that they picked up the intensity a little bit, especially at the defensive end in the second half?
It felt like it. Obviously they got the momentum. As they got a couple of things to go offensively, and a couple guys made jump shots. They got rolling pretty good, and so it felt like that carried over to what they were doing at the defensive end of the floor. They got active, and they've got some guys that can stretch out and deny some passes. So, we stood around. I got to standing around too much in the second half. In large part because of the way they defended. They've got guys that can guard the basketball and stay in front of Wes. And they've got some guys that can stretch out and deny passes. So it was a harder offensive game for us than what we played the other night.
Coach, can you assess Brent and Scott's game, 30 points tonight? When we asked Greg about it, he says, I wish he passed more, and he talks about the defense. But as an opposing coach, when you see a sophomore put up 30, what's your...
Yeah, he had a great second half. He made some good plays in the first half. But he really got rolling, and he's a good player. He's got the ability to change the game fast, the things Lance talks about with him. He would know those better than I because he sees them every day. But watching him on film, the thing that you notice is he can change the game in a hurry. In 3 or 4 possessions, he can swing it 7 or 8 points by himself, and that's pretty unique.
Jake, Indiana State starts go 9 for Devontae Browning, for Brent Scott rebounds, 7 for Edward Clemens. That's not something new for Indiana State that they're doing that all season. What element does that add in terms of the opposition and what wrinkle it adds to how your plan of attack works and how difficult it is to get second chance baskets?
Yeah, and those guys, that group of guards, they rebounded as good as anybody, in our league. Wichita obviously with Baker and Van Vliet, those guys rebound the basketball well. But this group rebounds it as good as any guard group in our league, and it helps them at both ends of the floor. They'll hang around to get some offensive rebounds, and that helped them some in the first half when we were playing better than Indiana State was in the first half. They were helped by some offensive rebounds, and some of those were the guys you mentioned. And for us, we don't spend a lot of our energies offensive rebounding, so it doesn't change our game a lot. But that's not to take away from how good they are at it, and that it does impact the game.
Coach, I think you heard Bo mention the attention to detail and every possession mattering. I guess how do you get the guys to buy into that across the board and make that a priority?
Yeah, I would tell you they're bought into it, Jeremiah. It is required every possession on the road, and we haven't found that level of consistency yet. If people hadn't watched us play on the road and sat down and watched us play in that first half, you'd think, wow, these guys' attention to detail is great, determination is good, they're locked in, right? So it isn't that they aren't bought into it. They're fully bought in. It's a matter of being able to do it over the course of the entire 40 minutes. So you don't have, good teams at home are going to have a stretch like Indiana State did tonight. And you're going to have to be able to to weather that, and we were not able to. You know, had we been able to punch back, and when they tied it and get back up 5 or 6, that's those periods in the game right now, especially on the road, we haven't done a good job of that. Those things, we've got to find a way to do that better.
Is that something you take from experience? Is it going to take a couple road games, or is it something you can do in
No, experience is probably the biggest. You've got to go through it, and you've got to knock that door down. You've got to bust through that wall. However you would, whatever phrase you'd like to use. At some point, you just got to break through, and you have to get the job done. And I would say we're certainly we're at that point right now, because the guys are bought in. They know what needs to get done. We know how we want to play. Now it's a matter of knocking that door down and finding a way to get one done on the road.
Heading back home, face Loyola, our road game, what kind of adjustments do you see? I mean, no game day, but right now that you see if we can use do better?
I don't know that there'll be a couple of little things right now. We played on Saturday against Drake. We played great at home. At home against Bradley in our opener, we played great. We've played better at home than we have on the road here of late, and so we need to use that part of it so that they can help us play better. And then there'll be, as you know, there'll be a couple things specific to Loyola that we'll have to work hard to do. But we've got to use the momentum and our crowd and those things to help us play good again at home.